Hey everyone, this is going to be my succession hash guide. I originally did not plan on ever making one of these because I thought the guides and resources that were out there were pretty good. Those are what I learned from, like Vert's guide when I first picked up the class about a little over half a year ago now. But out of just popular requests through my stream and my community, a lot of people watch my Nodewars and stuff or see me play, and they want to see my take on things a little bit. So I decided I'd go ahead and make a quick little guide here. This one's pretty short relative to my Musa guides, which are like a couple hours long, but this guide will be really short, straight to the point. It's really just me describing how I play, my thought process on how I engage, what I'm doing. It's really nothing that special. As I tell people, I'm really not doing anything that's different than anyone else playing this class, but I do pretty well in the class. I pretty much top frag every time I murk out somewhere, like sometimes even in my own fights, and I top page within my guild whenever we're fighting some of the best guilds in NA, like some of the top 10 guilds consistently. So I do pretty good on this class with a pretty basic play style, I think, and I'll try my best to describe a few of the things that I'm doing, a lot of the things that I'm doing, and maybe you can take something away from that, copy my play style, do it better, learn the class, and have some success with it. So if you have any questions anytime throughout this, if you see anything you have any concerns, questions about, just feel free to post it in the description or hit me up in Discord DMs or something, or catch me live. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy. Okay, here's a quick look at my add-ons here. This is what I take in PvP. My first add-on is Purge. I take all accuracy 4% with 7% attack speed. I like to use Purge as one of my main engages and catches in a lot of different group combos, so it's good for me to have the increased combo speed with the attack speed and also have a higher hit rate when I land that, and then go into my other skills like Ridge Reaver, Descent, everything else. So Ridge Reaver is the second skill here. We have attack speed on this one as well. This is only a T1 add-on, unfortunately. But the reason I have attack speed on this too is because sometimes I don't lead with Purge in my combos, as I'll show you shortly here after this. But sometimes I just use Ridge Reaver just for to throw out an SA trade or for a quicker combo. So I won't get the initial attack speed from Purge. So I'd like to have it at the beginning with Ridge Reaver. And then we have the minus evasion rate on that too. Sand Divider, I have critical hit rate 20% with 7% attack and cast speed. Something to keep up. A lot of times when you catch people 1v1, a good reef float or like re-CC is Sand Divider, so it's good to just get the attack speed immediately and critical damage from that when you hit someone with it, and then cancel into Sand Slicer for another 10% attack speed. Quicksand is a large AoE debuffing skill. I put a bleed on this. You can actually get a lot of kills with a bleed on this. And then I have the minus 15 DP, since I can mouse move this around in a huge, massive AoE circle and apply it to a lot of people, and then do stuff from there. Like I can do Quicksand and then wait for skills to be off cooldown, and then maybe engage a target and Descent after that, or go in there, just use some SAs, float some people, kill them, a lot you can do with that. It's a really good skill. Descent, I take plus 20 DP and plus 15 human damage. So this is a tier 3 add-on. I've seen a lot of different things on this. I've tried the 5% critical hit damage and other things, but I prefer the human damage and the DP. Critical damage, it's hard to get a lot out of it nowadays with all the special attack evasion, people evading criticals, stuff like that. And critical damage only helps you when you crit. So although a lot of our skills have really high crit, I do think that the 15 human damage is just going to do more damage consistently throughout your combos and your kit, as well as being tankier with the 20 DP. You can become quite tanky and actually live through more skills as you're trading. Dune Slash, another quick CC. That's going to be our last add-on here for PvP, and that's going to be 10 human damage and minus 15 DP. All right, here's a look at what I choose to take for PvE on Succession Hash. My first skill being Purge. I have 4% hit rate and 3% critical hit damage. Secondly, I have Shadow Splitter with minus 15 DP and 20% crit rate. This is a skill that is commonly used to DP debuff targets before we start comboing them. So Shadow Split the mobs, apply the combo to minus DP buffs from both the innate skill and the add-on, and the 20% hit rate to buff up your follow-up. Sand Divider, this is our accuracy buff, 9% accuracy. It's showing 3% because it's the level 1 skill, but it's 9% when it's maxed. I take attack speed and monster damage on that. You can use this with Sand Slicer all the time with the cancels, and pretty much keep these buffs up in PvE always. Really good skill to have an add-on on too. Quicksand, this is a large AoE ability. You can mouse move this around and apply like the minus 15 DP add-on I have, along with the 100 damage bleed. So it's going to make monsters bleed over 15 seconds. So anywhere where you're hitting a monster aggro limit and you're comboing those mobs for a bit, it can be really nice to start killing those mobs, and then the ones that are bleeding will start coming over to you within your aggro radius and start attacking you, so that you don't have to go out of your way and re-aggro more mobs. I like to take it. You could take another add-on or put other things onto it. It's your decision. Descent, it's a tier 3 add-on. I take 30 monster AP, 10% attack speed. I just think those are good. I'd throw them on there. You can keep it up pretty much all the time. Descent's like 12-second cooldown or something, so the attack speed monster AP is pretty big. Dune Slash is the last one. I take back attack and down attack damage. Obviously, if you're at some place where you can't down the mobs, switch the down attack off for anything else. You can put anything else on there or run a different add-on. You can't really mess up PvE add-ons all that much, as long as you're taking attack speed, monster damage, minus DP, and crit rate, and maybe some accuracy or some damage scaling modifiers. You're good to go. Just put them on your skills of choice, use the combo, and you'll have pretty good success with that. The crystals that I take on the class are right here. In my Black Star, I have 2 crystals of Elkar. I have 2 corrupted criticals in my Kudum. I have 2 of the Bond Glorious Special Evasion crystals in my chest. I'm trying to get 2 Djinns to try that out. It's going to give me another 50 HP per crystal, which could be nice, but I'm also thinking of maybe trying the human damage route once I acquire my Garmoth heart for my Dandy here. I have 2 Djinn Vipers in the Libers. I have 2 RBF Adamantines in the Shoes. This is another slot that's potentially a slot you can move around, try some other things in. I've seen some people run Hooms, either like 2 set Hoom or 4 set Hoom. Some people put them in their Dandy if they have a Garmoth with the 2 slots there. I have the Glorious Lucas for the accuracy, human damage, and attack speed. That's just my choice. I'm most likely, like 99% sure, going to run a second one once my Garmoth order actually fills. But in the Adamantines, you can run human damage there too. But I do like those. I feel like I get away with a lot more things running the Adamantines with the super high res. The resistance they offer, like, it can pay off. The way this class works, like, basically your entire, CC attempts, fishing, like your engages, your catches are unsafe. So if you do happen to like resist something and get away from it, the yield and the, potential play you can make is pretty big. So it's either that or you get knocked down and then you die because of it. So, but yeah, once I, get a Garmoth, I'm probably going to work around my crystals and see if I can get some more damage out of the kit with human damage, but haven't done that yet. So here's what I'm using. Okay. One of the first things I want to talk about are the pre-buffs on our kit. If we take a look at Sand Slicer here, this is going to give us 10% attack speed. We have Sand Divider, which is going to give us 9% accuracy. And we have Hourglass of Death here, which is one of our 3 AP buffs. This is Shift F. The other 2 are being Owl's Protection, which is our Q block. So if I press Q and a target hits me, either in PvE or in PvP, I receive a hit to my block, I'll get 20 AP. And lastly, we have Holiday Throw, which is down RMB. So if I throw this out and it hits a target, I'll receive 20 AP. Sand Warp also has, that's our evasion buff, 6% evasion buff. So you input that with just shift plus directional movement. So WASD, I move in this direction, iframe, 6% evasion rate. A good cancel to keep up your attack speed and your accuracy buff is SF and LMB, like this. You can do it quite fast, and since they're both low cooldowns, you pretty much keep this up anytime you want, whenever you're moving. And Shift F is generally how I always get my AP buff when I'm going to engage targets in large-scale PvP. So for example, if I want to engage these target dummies over here by this tree, you can engage them from here and pre-buff from here as well. So I'll show you how I do that. And I'm back to where I started. Okay, so let's talk more about our movement. This is how I like to move around and stay protected on the battlefield in PvP here. One of our main movement abilities is going to be Owl's Breath. You have to hotbar this. It's going to be on a 20-second cooldown here, as you can see. But you will be able to move around in a tornado and be fully protected in super armor, and you can engage from it too with a lot of different skills such as Sand Slicer and stuff like that. Other skills you have that are super armor and safe to use while moving around are going to be your rolls. So Halide Assault and Tail Cutter, which is R&B after certain skills such as like Sand Slicer, like this, R&B. And you can use it after forward F, Halide Assault as well. But it's only going to be super armor when it's off its cooldown. Another thing you can do is lingering your iframes, so you can use these all the time. As you can see, it's iframe into super armor in 3 different directions, but the super armor state doesn't last too long. However, if you do a backwards iframe, so Shift S like this, iframe, you can see the SA lingers quite long when I do that. You can also approach targets doing this as well. So with a 180-degree camera turn, such as this, you can move forward towards an opponent, right, as I'm iframing. And I'll have this longer linger state, as you can see there. And something I do sometimes when I want to get closer to a target, but I don't want to blow any other skills, you can do that and linger forward and bait people to do something around you, since you'll be in a safe state here. But you can get grabbed, so keep that in mind. Super armor protects you from everything besides grabs. Other than that, you have your Shift E, Quicksand here. This is quite a long super armor skill, and it's a debuff, so a lot of people aren't going to want to get close to you when you're doing that. But you can take time to look around when you're in Quicksand and maybe plan an engage or just see what's going on, wait for skills to get off cooldown so that you can move around and get out of it safely. But that's basically how I move around, and those are the skills that I use in PvP. Okay, now I want to talk about a few catches and some stuff to do with engaging and disengaging. A lot of your potential engagements and disengages are going to be determined by what skills you have up, your surroundings, the people you're fighting, how many players are nearby, where they're at, are they aware of you, are their backs turned. There's a lot of things to take into consideration so that you can have a fast and safe engage and enough utility up to disengage as well. Some easy engages are like Sand Slicer and 2 Dominion combos and catches. So let's say that this target right here either is or isn't looking at me, it doesn't really matter. You can follow it with an iframe, Sand Slicer, and Owl's Dominion like that for a very quick float. From long range, you have some options as well. You have Halide Throw, Stiffen. Usually you don't want to just throw that out, but there's some things you can do with it with like Binding Spirals. So let's say I get a catch with Binding Spirals. When you do aim this skill, you want to keep the target either to the left of you or to the right of you like this, just because of how the skill works. As you can see, if I throw it like that, I'll be able to stiff that target. And then I can hit them with my Halide to re-stiff, and then I can jump to them and then do a quick little damage combo and get out of there. So that'll look like this. If I throw this out, do Halide Throw, jump, and then just do like something like that. You have other movement skills like WRB, Piercing Tornado. It's not safe, but it does CC. You can do that out of some iframes to catch people off guard, knock them on the ground from different directions if you want to. It's not that safe, but it is an option. I more so use that for just like moving around the battlefield. This for bomb here is Shadow Slicer. So this is going to be super armor on the first hit. No collision while moving, but you're going to be unsafe on the second hit. So that's going to look like this. You can do the same thing from the first catch I showed you before. So out of that at any point, you can do Sand Slicer, and then you can like float with Owl's Dominion or whatever else. And then you can combo all of that movement together to do a lot of long distance movement chains. So I can do stuff like this to move around the battlefield and go quite far, as you can see. Just from chaining different skills together and weaving Sand Slicer in between different abilities. All right, now for comboing in PvP, I have pretty much 2 group PvP combos that are my go-to. One is for when I just want to quickly do a lot of damage, but I don't have like as much time, or it's like riskier. So it's going to be less damaging, but it's going to be a lot faster. it's just going to be Sand Slicer into Owl's Dominion, into Ridge Reaver, into Dune Slash, and then Descent or iframe into Descent. Sometimes you want to iframe into Descent so that you can reposition and be safer, maybe take less damage or hit more opponents. So what that's going to look like is this. Whatever your choice of movement is, I'm just going to do a forward iframe. So iframe, Sand Slicer, Owl's Dominion, Ridge Reaver, Dune Slash, and then Descent like that. Obviously you don't want to just walk away. You can do like any kind of movement to get out of there. You'll have everything up. The other combo is going to be the same thing, but with Purge at the beginning. So that's going to look like this. It's going to do more damage. However, it's going to take a bit longer. It's just dependent, as I said, situational, depending on what's going on around you, how many people there are they aware of you. So that is going to be a lot higher damaging combo though. You can also weave in like your bomb, like Shift X like this, and then do other things to move around between targets. You have Shift C as well, which is another block jump. So I can do this to move around the battlefield, either to get out of things if I need to, like, let's say I'm fighting a pack of people here, there's like 3 or 4 players, right? And I'm comboing them, I just finished my descent. I can aim at a player further away, Shift Z, and then begin my movement disengage. So you can get away further by using this skill like that. Okay, some other things I like to do to damage opponents in large scale, or to fish for CCs is, let's say like I'm around a base, let's say, just for example's sake, that these little pegs here in this flag are like barricades in a Nodewar, right? Sometimes there's gaps, sometimes there's holes in a base, and you'll be able to weave in some skills. So let's say there's targets inside a base and they're hopefully not aware of me. You don't really want to use this when someone's actively trying to kill you or CC you. But let's say I don't really have anything up, I can't really engage into the base, or maybe there's flame towers around and I don't want to be in range of those, right? I don't want to get CC'd and then potentially die. So you can throw out a rupture like this and put targets on the ground, and then maybe by the time that I use that rupture and that target's on the ground, either myself or my teammates can go in and do something off that catch, right? So then I can go in and then combo like this, and then I can head out of the base again, right? Another great skill to use between like fort structures and in bases, or just into targets before you pre-engage them or you have nothing up, is going to be your quicksand like that. As you saw at the end, it is a CC, but I do believe there's a gap at the end, so once you do that last hit that is going to knock them down, I'm pretty sure you're unsafe. So I usually never fully commit to that. I'll use the skill like this, mouse move it around a bit, and then go do something off of it. But that's really good to apply some DPS into groups of people, or if you have nothing up, to wait for some time. Those are a few things I like to do. And you can actually get quite a lot of kills and picks and other things off of that. So just some things to keep in mind. Okay, so for PvE, basically you just want to combo out mobs as quickly as you can, you know, debuff them, keep yourself self-buffed as much as you can, hit as many targets at once. There's a lot of different things you can do. A lot of add-ons you can keep up. You know, you want to keep your kick up, your Sand Slicer. You want to use your tornadoes into mobs like this. You can use your quicksand like this to gather mobs. You can stand still, mouse move around. I keep a bleed add-on on that, like I showed you. And how that's going to work is when I hit the aggro limit, I'll be able to kill these monsters here. Let's say these are all monsters and I kill these, right? And then while the bleed is still on those other targets and ticking down, those mobs will now come aggro me, and they'll start walking towards me without me having to like re-aggro them with something like Howdy Throw or walk over there and hit them, right? That's a really good thing to do. A lot of different ways you can keep your AP buffs up, like I showed you. You can like gather up a pack of mobs like this, and then you can put your block up in front like this, have them hit you real quick, and then go straight into comboing like this. You can weave your bombs in and out, you know, Shift C, Shift X. You can roll through the mobs like this, get on their back, Shadow Splitter for DP debuff, Rupture, you know, iframe, Owl's Dominion. Just be spamming your abilities. There's really nothing to it, honestly. Keep your tornado going on them as much as you can for just constant DPS. Not really much else to say here. The PvE on this class is very good. It's quite easy. Just get used to using all your skills. Use as much stuff out of iframe or quick cancel as you can. Pay attention to your timers. Eventually it'll just be like muscle memory and you'll get everything down and memorized pretty easily, but not much to the PvE. That's really all that I do. Other than that, I really don't have much else to talk about. Just with a playstyle like that, you can have great success just doing those things. There's obviously a lot more you can do on the class in different situations, and like a lot of different combos, a lot of different skills you can use. But really, that's honestly all I really do in most scenarios, and all I really need to do. The main tips I can give you, like main things to really learn on any class, specifically this one, is just like knowing how to move, knowing how to use all your movement in your kit, being safe, knowing how to like move around the battlefield protected is a very important thing to do. I think I also forgot to mention that, the Shift F. So if you actually hold this instead of canceling it with an iframe, you'll have a forward guard. So I can hold this, and then I can decide whether or not I'm going to jump to that target. I almost never use that as a block jump. I try not to use the block jumps too much anymore, unless it's like on people that are completely unaware of me, that I know I have no chance of being CC'd. I try not to use them to go in. But that's something I forgot to mention. But yeah, like I said, just learn how to move around, practice in BA or whatever, RBF, like do some combos, move around your targets, you know, use your bombs, learn how to move around the battlefield and get comfortable with just moving around, being safe, throwing out damage, and then disengaging, engaging, all that kind of stuff. If you guys do have any questions, you know, feel free to ask them in the comments or DM me. I'll put my Discord tag in the description, and you can also catch me live. Another big tip I can give you guys, how I was learning the class earlier this year, is watching people's like Nodewar and Siege footage. Watch how they fight. Watch how people GVG. That's how I've learned many of the classes I've played. So analyze what people are doing, like break it down, like pause the video, watch how they do something, run it back, analyze like what's going through this guy's mind, like why did he choose to engage a certain way, why did he follow up that way, why did he move that way, you know. And then the good things that you see in players, try to duplicate those, or even better, try to do the same thing but do it better in a different way, you know. And you can really be a great player on any class doing stuff like that. But definitely watch how people play stuff in Nodewar's Siege so you can see how to play, and pick up on your own things, make it into your own style. But yeah, wish you guys the best of luck.